Hello everyone, welcome to the Frog Pond. It's Swag Frog here, and I'm joined by my absolute inspiration for creating content here. Very cool that we could have him on the channel. It is NOOCH2GUD. And if by chance that you somehow haven't heard of him, just go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
Well, I'm glad to know I'm your absolute inspiration as opposed to just like a partial inspiration, so that's good to know. But yeah, guys, it's visiting Swag. Swag's been over on my channel just as a supporter and a member for a long time. So when he reached out and said he wanted to talk about specifically kind of farming efficiency or just some stuff in the game, it was good to get on here and talk to you, my friend.
Well, I mean, I'm sure everybody's very pleased to have you here. I know I certainly am. So first I just wanted to dig into energy a little bit, because energy can be a pretty confusing point for, new players or even later game players. So I'd say first off with energy, you gotta focus on how many shards you're farming. Like, those basic energy nodes are pretty important, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I generally look at it like when I look at the basic energy, the gold energy, I guess, in the game. I use it to farm two things. I'm either character sharding or I'm farming Kyrotechs, and I get my gear in other places. And something that I think, I've done a bunch of free-to-play accounts on the channel. We'll keep doing that over time. Whatever other energy I'm struggling to refresh because of crystal lack or whatever, I always refresh my gold energy 3 times every day, just period, for 50, 3 times 50 crystals every single day, regardless of anything else that's going on in the game.
Exactly. There's just so many characters to farm. You always have to have, like, characters getting up and ready for your next farms. It's really, really important. And then when you run out of your characters to farm for the day, you can always just give some Kyrotechs. And Kyrotechs, also the light side Kyrotech node. Specifically, let's pull it up right here. This one also comes with a gear piece that is used for the bronzium wirings, which is
Right.
a really, really crucial gear piece here. Because bronzium
Yeah,
wirings...
both of those. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No worries. Bronzium wirings become quite the bottleneck later. Anyways, back to
Yeah,
you.
they do. No, yeah, and both of those have different relic gear help, for you in them. But yeah, you're right. Bronzium wirings, I mean, that'll tear up your soul later in the game. You're trying to find bronziums. You're trying to find, I can't remember what the first two will really just wreck you. It seems like it shouldn't be. The other ones you can find places you can do, but yeah, you got to farm so much basic gear for those first two that's why that light side Kyrotech node, I used to call it the squid Kyrotech, but the prod, whatever you want to call it, mic, looks like a mic also, or a walkie-talkie. It's really important for that. It's the Mark V pad, I think, or whatever in there, that is the most valuable thing you can do for bronzium wiring. Let's see here, what is it? The
Mark VII Kyrotech Shock Prod prototype. Or
right, but then go into the farm, into the node.
Right. That one is...
It's that Mark V,
Mark
yeah.
V Fabritech
Mark V data pad. Yep. Yeah. That thing right there, you can never get enough of those, because that is going to get your bronzium wirings, and they're expensive for you if you're not buying them, especially if you're free to play. You need to get as many of those as possible, and you're going to grab your laptop Kairos in other places while you're farming those.
Yeah. I find that those pop up like way more than they probably should in my guild events shop and my grand arena. Speaking of guild events shop, once you start getting later into the game, I would absolutely recommend using your guild event tokens to farm stuff like Wampa first. But once you're done with like Wampa, and once you're done with specifically your Mark IIs with Negotiator and Malevolence, then you can absolutely start using those Get 2 tokens to start farming Kyrotechs. It's a pretty good place to pick them up.
Yeah, I agree. And I look in that shop, like right now, you purchased those light side Kyrotech right there. And nothing wrong. If you've got Negotiator at 7 stars and you got Malevolence at 7 stars, that's exactly what you should do in that shop. It should all go to, it just converts into that Get 2 currency, turns into 100% Kyrotechs and nothing else at that point. Now, a lot of times what I'll do in this shop is I'll spend it on the other Kyrotech, the laptop one, while I go and spend my energy on the squid one, because what that does for me is it enables, well, yeah, it enables me to get all those, the bronzium wiring, the Mark V pads we were talking about from the light side, and then I get my dark side ones over here, and I get my laptop Kairos. Sorry, I'm babbling here, but I also get
No
them
worries.
over in the Grand Arena store as well, with that Grand Arena currencies where I'll get those too.
Yeah, I absolutely am snagging plenty from that too.
Yep.
And once again, so there is a event that rolls around. It's not quite in the shop anymore. I definitely abuse it a little bit when it comes around, but there are these little relic support packs that come into the shop for like 500 crystals, and you get plenty of gear. I use that to just buy so much carbonite circuit boards and so much bronzium wirings every single time it comes around. Those are really good value. So if you see those in the shop and you're struggling with relic materials, I would absolutely recommend the bronzium wiring and the carbonite circuit boards in there.
Yeah, I think those first two are most important. Scroll down a little bit too. I want to talk about, since we're talking about Kyrotex, right there, that box, go up, that silver box right there, that's $6 for what is it, 70 Kyrotex every week?
It's 50. 25 of each,
no,
I think. Oh, it's an
25
additional
each?
20. Oh,
Yeah.
they added 20 to it.
Well, they
for the
added
extra
$1
$1.
to it.
Right.
They added $1 to it, and they added 20
Right.
Kyrotex. So
Hey, that's pretty good.
$6, and you could buy that twice a week. If you are gonna be a light spender in the game, this is the number one thing you should be buying. It's $12 a week. If you can buy it once a week, you can buy it once a month, whatever. This is a lot of value here. The other thing, it's not going to be in the shop right now, but it comes in on Mondays, is the, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a gear bundle for $9.99.
Right.
That's another, and what's it called? Anyway,
I don't remember.
yeah, I'll find it here. Go ahead. While you're talking about the next thing, I've got it written down here somewhere.
Oh, perfect. All right. So next up, got to talk a little bit about Cantina energy. That's pretty important. You should really be using your Cantina energy. So very early in the game, just farm as many shards as you can. But once you start getting into mid game, you're going to want to use a lot of your Cantina energy to start farming signal data, which is, you know, pretty important. It's the currency that lets you upgrade relics, so you got to be farming that signal data, as well as that it does have a chance of dropping omegas and omicrons, which both also become a pretty big bottleneck later on in the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. By the way, the pack is called the Kyrotex Salvage. Or no, so I'm sorry, the Relic Cargo Pack. So every Monday, the Relic Cargo Pack is $10 in the shop. It's a great deal for a lot of relic materials. So there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, as far as signal data, it's exactly what you said. I'm either farming character shards in there, and if I'm not farming character shards, what I'm doing is grabbing signal data. And you mentioned earlier, you've always got to have your backup farms on. So I got one farm going at all times where I'm farming a team that I'm working on right now, and then I've always farming the next team, and maybe even the team behind that, to get the shards up. Get the sharding done, man. Knock the sharding, get it out of the way. It's easy for you. And then when the sharding is done, you move over to the Kyrotex. And I spent a lot of time farming the gray and the green and the blue Kyrotex. I mean, a lot of time. And I've got a lot of Kyrotex on my roster as a result.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. Always make sure you are 3 steps ahead on your count, which plays into the fact that you should always be creating a pretty long farming path for yourself. Like, you want to always start with like a legendary character. I wouldn't recommend going for a galactic legend immediately out of the gate. As of now, executor is probably one of the best things you can farm, considering punishing one is as strong as it is at the moment. So I would say executor is one of the best farms out of the gate, and then you can just do a legendary character that you enjoy, sort of just get your roster in a decent spot, build up a couple of teams, and then start farming for a galactic legend. I don't think it's the most efficient to just farm a galactic legend immediately, like right away.
100%, man. I mean, you're starting off with your base teams, then you're going to assault battles and into executor, and then after you get all that set up, let's get your roster set up before you go get galactic legends, you know, because otherwise your roster is super one-dimensional, which can be kind of nice. And it's rushing Galactic Legend is fun. I've done it a bunch of times. It just kind of leaves you with a bunch of holes on your roster.
Yeah, and you don't really have that many good teams as a result, which is, you know, kind of an issue for Grand Arena. You don't have a lot of good teams to put on defense. You don't have a lot of good teams to take on offense. So you should probably be getting a couple teams up and ready prior to pushing a Galactic Legend.
Agreed.
next up on the docket, I think we should just go ahead and briefly talk about mods here. Mods are incredibly important. They're kind of one of the big bases of my channel, so farming them, you should always start off with farming as many mod challenges as you can. Make sure you are only farming the 5-dot mods. Those are the only ones you want. You can't really use much of the 4 or 3-star, or yeah, 3-star, I guess. I don't know how they do it here. Mark 4, Mark 3, anything lower than that, not very good on your roster, so make sure you are just farming the Mark 5s. And then when you do have plenty of mods, eventually, and you know, you go in and you roll them and you make sure they're decent. I have videos on that if you're curious on how to determine your good mods. But you want to eventually start farming a lot of the slicing material so that you can upgrade your good mods to higher rarities and get them up to 6-dot and above.
Do you farm down there at the end of the I almost never farm. Well, hang on a second. Let me.
Oh yeah, I really needed these for a while, so
Interesting.
yeah, I really needed a couple of those.
Yeah, I spend most of my time now. Most of the time I'm in this. I'm here. You know, I'll go over and farm mods sometimes, but like right now I need a bunch of offense mods on my main account. So
Yeah.
I'm building up a bunch of offense mods, but once I get it filled up, then I just turn my attention to here, and I spend probably 80 to 85% of my time in farming these slicing materials. And out of that, I spend time in those first 4 nodes. I don't farm the last 2. Actually, I don't think I've ever farmed the last 2 nodes.
Really?
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong about that, but what I find for me, like go back 1. I don't know what they're called. Yeah, I don't know what these things are called.
These or?
Yeah, both of these. Well, the white ones, the blue ones you get.
Yeah, these ones that are required
Right.
for 6-dotting.
So when I spend time in this node, I get a truckload of these. But when I go to the final 2 nodes, you only get like 1 or 2 per each farm, and that's why
this one I never farm. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I only farm E, and that's because sometimes I need extra ones of these to get them up a little bit higher on the slicing list. Like from
I don't know.
blue
Somehow
to
I've always got
purple
a
or
bunch of those. I don't know how I've got a bunch of those,
Huh.
but I do.
I've run into the issue a couple times myself, so I don't know.
Click on the furnace one, the right before that. I don't know what these things are. Down. No.
Oh.
I mean on the map itself.
Oh, this?
Nope, left. Your other left. That one, yeah.
I'll get there eventually.
Okay, those. Those I've got
these.
plenty of. I'm sorry, that's the one I've got plenty of because they're in that node with that. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have plenty of the other ones. Honestly, though, since I don't take many mods to 6 dots, unless they've already got like a minimum 12 or 13 speed, and that's not a guarantee. Like I won't take. I shouldn't say I won't. If it's the perfect mod for a character, and if it's a health mod, like I'll tend to do it more on like a health mod where the upgrade is a massive.
Yeah.
You go from 7% health to 18%. Is that what it is? I don't know if I'm getting that right, but
or
16%.
I think it's 16%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big jump on health.
It's
a big jump health. It's a big jump on crit damage, but you've already got a big number in there. But I might do it, but generally speaking, I want to be at least 15 speed before I go to 6-dot.
Yeah.
So I don't usually, and then I'll go maybe one more upgrade to green, and then I'll start doing the I can't remember what they're called. I spend 15 and I get to take a random shot at one of them. There's a lot of ways to work. Yeah, attenuators, right. So I'll use those more, and then I get my other mod materials from having Jabba and having my Poncho Bros, and soon I'll be having my what are you calling them? The Peridia Pals. So that's where I get a lot of my mod materials on the account when I'm going above and beyond the 6-dot green mods, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, makes perfect sense to me. I don't have Jabba, and I don't quite have Poncho Bros yet. Those are 2 of my very soon farms once I'm done with Ahsoka here, but those are a huge help for mods down the road, so.
Yep.
As well as the 3 Peridia ones. this event, the new Assault Battle, is going to drop a pretty healthy amount of mod materials, as well as you're going to get a very healthy amount of crystals and chirotechs, and even if you get to the end, you can get some of the really bottleneck relic materials like keypads, droid brains, and especially Omicrons.
100%, man. We'll see exactly what's in there when it comes out, but yeah, I'll be ready to go on that. I wasn't gonna do it, and then I just decided I gotta do this, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna be all over it.
I'm very ready for it. I will immediately push Death Trooper Peridia to Relic 7 like the second that thing comes out. I'm ready for it.
Nice.
Been farming GL Ahsoka like crazy, and I am so disappointed that I'm going to have to farm Fulcrum the Relic 9. Stop giving us Relic 9.
Why did you think that wasn't gonna be a thing?
I knew it was. I knew it was. I just didn't want to believe it was.
You knew it when you saw Snips at 9 and Cat at 9. Oh, I'm like, oh, well, then Fulcrum's gonna be at 9 too.
I know.
It's just automatic.
I know.
That's why they gave you 7 months of farming to do it.
But I'm just not ready yet. I need more impulse detectors. I need more arrows. I need more keypads. I need everything.
I got the wallet swag.
Might have to. I've been farming it free to play so far somehow. I haven't spent a single cent on getting GL Ahsoka up and ready, and I mean, this is how far I am. Like, you can do it. It's not impossible. It's just, you know, tough, and you probably have to have a Kyber crystal income for it, so.
Yeah, you've got to have those crystals coming in on a daily and you know, end of Kyber crystals income is way better than yeah. I mean, good point. I got nothing to add to that. When you're in Kyber, it's a different world, and because I got my account in Carbonite right now, I'm like, I'm only getting like 70 crystals.
Oh, I know. It's so disappointing, and then you get to like Kyber and it's 200, and it's just relief.
Well, like in Carbonite, like at the end of the Grand Arena round, I get like 200 crystals, and I'm like, wait, what? That's all I get?
Yeah. And then you look at Kyber and it's 2,000.
Right, exactly.
It's a huge jump. And that's another thing too, is you should be farming teams for Grand Arena so that you can push up in Grand Arena, because that crystal income is a very big player.
100%.
Anyways, let's talk briefly about ships a little bit.
Okay.
Ships are very, very important, and you should always be farming ships, and I don't think any content creator is going to say otherwise. Gotta make sure, like, I mean, look how many ships I've got bookmarked and working on right now. Like, you need to be working on ships 100% of the time until all of your ships are 7 stars. You need all the ships. Fun fact, there's not a single ship that you don't need, so just make sure that you're farming ships here and there.
Are you sure? Because what about,
okay. There might be one or two.
Ship, and what about the
I mean, it's all right to have. You can throw the home one on defense. That one is definitely less necessary. I will say.
This is cope. So, and the TIE Reaper.
I mean, hey, I haven't touched it. All right.
Yeah.
And I haven't
Tell me about the TIE Reaper where you need that TIE Reaper. I'm just asking for a friend.
Okay, but every other ship, I don't think I can think of any other ones that you don't need.
The Imperial shuttle is kind of faded as Rex, other ships were in
Rex's ship.
Like, Rex, you don't really have a spot for that either. Yeah, yep.
Which, I mean,
hey,
you
farmed all the right ships here, so good job.
Yeah. Except for I need to get the Palpmobile up and running. Maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of iffy with Chimera now that they've just absolutely screwed the levy counter, which I was not very pleased about, I will say. It was something that I was definitely loving up in Kyber, where I could actually take down Leviathans, but now that my levy counter is gone, my scythe is kind of lonely.
Yeah, you know, the launch of one ship has blown up everything that everybody was working on.
I know.
It's like they only release 2 ships a year, and when you release 2 ships a year and you make one of them just blow up the whole game, it is challenging. I agree, it's challenging. So we will find ways to deal with it, but I don't think it's such a bad thing. I gotta be honest. I don't know that it's a bad thing for the game, that because there were so many counters to everything, and now like the finalizer is no longer an executor counter. Like, that's just gone. It's what and it's just gone. You know, you can't counter Leviathan with the Chimera anymore. And so it really makes the game a lot more challenging and interesting, and I'm kind of for that. I know that it's kind of a shock to the system, and it was definitely a giant wrench that they threw into the works. But
Yeah.
we'll deal with it. We'll move forward, and we'll be all right.
Though one quick note is, I have been told by a good source named Rabid Beaver that the negotiator counter for Leviathan does still work as long as you make sure to dial in those speeds properly. I
Is
think
that with
he's
a
making
Relic
a video
8
on that
Plo
later.
Koon?
I'm not 100% sure what it is. You'll have to tune into his channel to try and figure out what the heck is going on there. He's making a video on it, but apparently it does still work, so it's not completely off the table yet. You do still have some off-meta counters for Leviathan, so everything's not quite out the window yet, but I do agree it kind of upends a little bit because a lot of the meta fleets can only be tackled by other meta fleets at the moment.
Yeah, and I think I'll put a video out too for counters here recently as well.
Yeah.
So there are counters out there. We just got to go find them now. But
I'm sure it's a
nobody
hot
likes
topic.
change. Nobody likes change. So it's gonna be okay, everybody.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
The game's
okay.
not gonna die due to 2 counters being removed, I don't think. Or 3, I guess, because you can't use Profundity against Executor because
Ew.
Profundity just becomes an absolute wet noodle against Punishing One. It is so strong against Profundity. It is
Yeah.
kind of funny.
Yeah. I agree, man. I got nothing to add. You nailed it. It's you're 100% right. The Punishing One is the biggest game changer they've launched in a long time in this game.
Yeah. Oh, so you unlocked Balin yesterday. I wanted
Yeah.
to get this in here really quick. What do you think
Okay.
of Balin so far? Because I know the reception to him has not been so good.
Everybody's overreacting. He's built for Grand Arena, so
Yeah.
deal with it. Use him in Grand Arena.
He's a
Now,
star killer.
Yeah, and don't the people on his team have TW and TB Omicrons as well? If you want to use those,
Let me check real quick here.
I think Shin Hati's got a TW Omicron if I remember right. I could be wrong. It's been I'm trying to remember, but
There's Shin. I forget that I
Yeah.
haven't upgraded her. Probably you have no power?
go up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Territory
Wars. Yeah. So everybody's I'm sorry, Squad Arena is no longer a good measure of the utility of a character. It just isn't.
I don't think it has been for a while.
Yeah, now it's the only place that it's the only, Arnold has wanted a sandbox for 8 years.
Yes.
There's your sandbox. It's the only sandbox that exists.
I know. They really should just
Yeah.
turn on Omicrons for it. That'd be really cool.
Well, they could do something in the they should just turn on. I agree with that. Turn on the Omicrons, let them work. You pick whatever. That's fine. But using Squad Arena as a measurement of how you feel about a character, let's wait and see what happens in Grand Arena.
Yeah.
Now, if I take him against a Jedi Master Kenobi team and he flops there, then we get some real problems because
Yes.
he's specifically built in his kit to counter Jedi Master Kenobi by ignoring protection. And so we'll see what happens. We will see what happens in Grand Arena, but I think
Yeah.
everybody's overreacting right now. And yeah, it makes for some good content. And yeah, we all get a lot more attention when we complain. That's the problem with this generation is my generation spent too much time giving you guys attention for complaining. So don't pay attention to the complaints. Let's move forward. Let's see how they perform in Grand Arena, Territory Wars, everything else. Who cares how it performs in Squad Arena? It is
Yeah.
absolutely meaningless. Absolutely
Yeah.
meaningless.
Well, another point I would bring up is, as Arnold said in his video, look at Darth Bane. Darth Bane wasn't performing the most fantastic in Squad Arena. Like, sure, he was doing all right, but he wasn't, like, killing everything. And then you hit Grand Arena, and you realize his Omicrons are absolutely insane, and he's shredding Galactic Legend Leia, like... And then Malgus, too. Like, some of these characters that are
Yes.
fine outside of it, but like are really good inside, have been some of the dominant characters in the Grand Arena meta, so time will tell.
Everybody's overreacting to it, 100%. And the thing about like Darth Bane, everybody then thought it was the Datacron. It wasn't. It was just Darth Bane.
Yep, it was just
Yep.
Darth Bane. It
He's
was
just
that
awesome.
instant bonus turn, massive damage.
Yep.
Just getting absolutely rolling.
Yep. He's just awesome. That's all there is to it.
He's just awesome. He's another Galactic Legend. C is his lifter.
There you go.
heard it here for like the 80th time.
I
Darth
don't even
Bane
think
is the Galactic
you don't even
Legend.
need a lifter. You just throw I throw Dooku on there and I kill everybody. So Dooku
Yeah,
is just
exactly. That's what I do
Yeah.
too. Is I just throw Dooku for some stuns, or Vader if I'm
Yeah.
going against Leia for the ability blocks. Like,
Darth Bane definitely did not work as intended. He was clearly built to be on C team and free up Watt for other stuff, and
yep.
did not work as intended.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, they didn't fix him, or fix him, I should say, with
Thumbs up.
hefty air quotes. And, I'm perfectly fine with that. Like, I unlocked Darth Bane really early. I'm not complaining. I'll take him.
I'm with you.
I mean, he counters, like, Reva, too. He steamrolls Reva. Like, it is
He
not even a
steamrolls
close
everything.
match. Yeah, basically every non-Galactic Legend, Bane just counters, period. And most of the Galactic Legends, he just counters, period. Except for Rey, who does a lot of true damage, and Jedi Master Kenobi, who's got an insta-kill.
Mm-hmm.
He tears all the other Galactic Legends apart. Except for
Yep.
kind of Jabba, because Jabba does have the insta-kill, so if you let him hang around too long, he can get that insta-kill and take Bane out, but...
Yep. So yeah, everybody's overreacting to Balin. I mean, I comments on my video. It's too bad he's trash. It's like he's not trash. He's just in the wrong game mode. And
we saw the exact same thing with Starkiller.
I think when Grand Arena comes here next week, it's gonna be lots of Balin content launched, and everybody talk about how awesome Balin is. And I'm gonna make Balin videos for weeks about how awesome he is in Grand Arena. That's what's gonna happen. Everybody's overreacting about it.
I think you're absolutely right there. Anyways, I think I've covered everything I want to cover, so I suppose that'll be all. Any final parting words for us here?
Nah, Swag, this is fun. It's good to talk to you here on your channel, and I'm glad you got this thing going and everything's going for you. It's just good to see you developing it and put some good stuff together, and it's good to spend some time together today.
Absolutely, thank you. And, once again, your channel's doing absolutely fantastic. Like, keep up the good work. I've seen that you've been growing about the same pace as Arnold, which is really cool. You're averaging like 200 viewers per stream at least, bare minimum. You're kicking it. It's really cool.
Well, I've been watching my members only channel updates, so thank you, sir.
Well, I mean, I've also been watching your channel for like 2.5 years now.
Yes,
so
you have.
I remember when you were at like 30 viewers a stream, and it's really
So
cool
do
how
I.
you've grown.
It's funny. You gotta sometimes step back and say, we all want to achieve more, but you gotta appreciate what you have sometimes.
So, I mean, one quick thing on that is I actually have a friend who has been gone from SWGOH for a while, who was actually like one of the first 500 subs to your channel. He went by Can Man.
Man, I don't remember.
You
Was he
probably
playing
don't
on Lego
remember
Star
him.
Wars battles at the time, or?
I don't know, but it was really early on, and he's talked about watching your he's talked about watching your Lego Star Wars battle stuff.
Right. I feel bad then. I don't remember Can Man, but that's I apologize to Can Man. I'm sure you're a lovely person. I'm just happy that Swag has a friend. That's a good thing.
I have
Congratulations
a couple.
on having
I
a
hope.
friend.
I mean, my friend who got me into the game is I'm starting to pass him in galactic power now, and that's kind of sad because he was like 4 million ahead of me to start, and now he's not.
Yeah, we've all got our journey.
Yep, absolutely. This is him right here. He hasn't been active in a minute, mostly because he joined the military. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching Nooch. It was fantastic having you on here, and look forward to you doing more stuff, and I look forward to doing more stuff. Thank you everybody
Sounds
for
good,
watching. If you like this stuff, feel free to like and subscribe. I'm not going to force you to do anything, of course, but would be appreciated. And as always, have a good one. See you guys in the next one.